Hello, do you grow tomatoes? Do you grow these big beefsteak tomatoes? Have you ever grown those before? Do you plan on growing some? Maybe not this year, maybe next year. There's something I want to show you on this particular plant. I've grown this variety, Big Daddy, now for about 3 years I think. And the same thing happens every year. So it's obviously a characteristic of this particular variety. It may even be a characteristic of beefsteak tomatoes. I don't know that. You might be able to tell me. Let me just show you this. So here we have two unassuming, unripe green tomatoes. Two Big Daddy. Here on the same truss we have an aborted flower, another one, another one, another one, another one, and another one. So there are 6 flowers on that truss that haven't developed. And that's typical of this particular variety of tomato, that not all the flowers develop. There only ever seems to be 2 tomatoes go to maturity on any one truss. Now you'd have to say, well, that isn't very many. I'm not too happy with that. If I'm only going to get 2 tomatoes on every truss, perhaps I don't want to grow these. But hey, hold on. Let me just pan you down to a couple of mature, ripe Big Daddies. If you grew these, you'd be proud of these. I am. Hey, look at those bad boys. I mean, come on. They are a big tomato. They're well named Big Daddy. Now I'm telling you what we're going to do. We're going to take this truss, because these tomatoes are ripe now. They can go indoors. I think we'll weigh them. I think we'll have a closer look at them. And I think we'll do a comparison with some of the other tomatoes that I've already got indoors from the other tomato plants growing in this greenhouse. Should we do that? Yep, we're going to. Wow. These are a couple of fine tomatoes. Big Daddy, come on. Wow. Well, you'd be proud of those. You definitely would. Right, let's get them indoors. We'll compare them to some of the other tomatoes that I've grown. I think we'll weigh them. Yeah, we're going to weigh them. Come on. This is a variety of tomato called Sun Gold. It's one of those cherry type tomatoes. It wouldn't be unusual to get 20, 30, 40 of these guys on one truss. That would not be unusual. These have delivered really well for me this year, and I'll say this while we're talking about Sun Gold. You will not taste a nicer tomato than Sun Gold, in my opinion. Hey, if you're growing and eating tomatoes, you've tasted these guys, tell me there's one better. Tell me if you've tasted one better than Sun Gold. But I would recommend these to anybody growing tomatoes, particularly if you're growing for taste and you're going to get 20, 30, 40 of those on one truss. But they are a cherry tomato, and as such the truss can support that number of tomatoes, it can support that weight. So let's move these to one side and let's bring in, let's call these a standard size tomato. These are the ones you're going to get in the shop. These are Shirley. Now as you can see, Shirley is quite a bit bigger than Sun Gold. And Shirley, I'll deliver you 10 tomatoes on a truss. Maybe a few more, maybe a few less. But that's the sort of delivery you can expect from Shirley. And Shirley has delivered really well for me this year. So I'm happy with Sungo, I'm happy with Shirley. Let's have a look at these bad boys. Whoa! Big Daddy! Come on, they are enormous. They are enormous. This is your standard shop bought tomato. This is Big Daddy. Can we get all the varieties in the shot at once? I'm not too sure. How's that? Sun Gold, Shirley, Big Daddy. Wow, these are big tomatoes. These beefsteaks are big tomatoes. Right, let's get them on the scales because I said we would, just out of interest. Let's see what the poundage is for just 2 Big Daddy. Let's do that. Okay, let's have a look at this. Here we go. Wow, that's £1.50. Just 2 tomatoes, £1.50 of tomatoes in 2 tomatoes. No wonder the truss doesn't let any more than 2 fruits set. I don't think it could support any more than 2. They're that big and they're that heavy. Hey, Big Daddy. So, if you're going to grow beefsteak tomatoes, this is possibly what you could expect. Maybe only 2 tomatoes on every truss, but those 2 tomatoes might give you £1.50 of tomato. It's up to you. You want to grow these beefsteaks? Would you rather grow the smaller Shirley and instead of getting 2 on a truss, maybe get 10 or a dozen? Or would you go with those Sun Gold? Maybe get 20, 30, 40 and an absolutely gorgeous tasting tomato to boot. Choice is yours. Choice is yours. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's just a short one. I've enjoyed making it. If you're not a follower of the channel, you might want to click the subscribe icon. And if you've liked this video, hey, give me a like. That would be nice too. Okay, so this is Homegrown Veg, signing out.